Hello and welcome to episode 44 of the NF Show, NF Magazine's official video podcast. I'm your host, Evan Campbell, and with me, as always, is the ever lovely Noah Ward.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show.
Yes, and this show is titled My Amiibo and Me. There's no room for you, Noah. It's just My Amiibo and Me. And here is my Amiibo for everyone that's watching the show.
She only has one gun arm.
Yeah, she does not have the dual cannons like was showcased. Did someone find that at a Walmart?
I think so. I'm not sure. It was just really great to look at you. If you haven't seen it, folks out there on the internet, you should look up the picture of the dual cannon. Sam, she just looks so tough, ready to take on everything with two guns.
Dual wielding.
I could just see her doing it. It'd be pretty awesome.
I think it's Nintendo hinting at the next Metroid game.
Yes.
You're gonna be able to have dual blasters in that game. It's gonna be pretty cool.
Metroid dual blasters.
Yeah, I like the sounds of that. Well, Amiibos aren't the only thing that Nintendo released over the past few days. In North America, at least, I know in Europe, you still have to wait for Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, but it's out now in North America, as well as Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. It's a huge day. It always is, at least in North America. The Friday before Thanksgiving, Nintendo gets all of its heavy hitters, puts them out there. I think last year it was Super Mario 3D World, A Link Between Worlds, and the game that people forgot about but was part of the lineup, Mario Party. I forget what it was, like Island Party for 3DS.
Island Tour?
Something like that. I'm really curious if anyone has played that. So be sure to write in and let us know. Show at magazine.com, or you can leave a comment right here on YouTube. And we'd also like to hear your Pokemon feedback. Noah and I both aren't going to purchase the newest games because, well, at least for me, I still need to finish Pokemon X before I can start a new Pokemon adventure, an old new Pokemon adventure. But we'd love to hear what you're saying because it's gotten really great reviews and people seem super excited about it. We had Dawn on last week that was really enjoying it. So I'd love to hear fan feedback out there. But let's not waste any more time, Noah. Let's get straight to Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, which you told us you were going to buy it, but you're now kind of in a state of limbo where you don't know if you want it for a Christmas present or to pick up right away. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. I'm not sure. I still have to figure out what game am I going to ask for Christmas, and Smash Brothers would be like an awesome Christmas gift. I know if I was 10 years old and I was waiting for Smash Brothers for Wii U, I would be beside myself, very excited. And so when it comes to choosing what game I'm going to ask for Christmas, I want to see what would be the maximum 10-year-old experience. And last year, I'm pretty sure that was Super Mario 3D World, and it was wonderful to wait for. It was worth the wait. I loved that game so much. And Smash Brothers could be that game, or maybe it's Bayonetta 2. I'm not sure. It's one of those two. That's what I'm trying to decide, but I think I'll have a clearer answer on that next week. So unfortunately, we're only going to get to bask in the feedback of Evan and hear what he thinks about the game in this week's episode. But rest assured, I will be getting that game at some point. Come which way, I'm not sure, but it will be in my future. I have foreseen it.
Definitely. Well, let's start from the beginning. I decided to try out Nintendo's new preloading functionality on the Wii U to pre-order Super Smash Bros., and I actually did it Thursday. I didn't do it too far in advance, but it worked without a hitch. I was able to start playing a few minutes after midnight, actually. I didn't necessarily plan on staying up that late, but I was up that late and wanted to see if it preloaded. I think it's about 12 gigabytes. If everything went as planned, I'd be able to jump on, and I was able to, which was really cool. And not only that, I was able to jump in an online match that was super smooth, lag-free for me at least. I've only played, I think, the For Glory mode because I don't want any of those stupid items ruining my Smash Brothers experience. And it's a Sakurai game, overwhelming, overflowing with content, downright gorgeous, and it's Smash Brothers. It just kind of, as someone who really never played the Nintendo 64 one, but got Super Smash Bros. Melee right when it came out for GameCube. I think it was the month after the GameCube launch, December 2001, and also was right there at launch for Brawl. It's a great feeling to kind of jump back in that and start playing, and have just had a blast, and it's so gorgeous. I'm glad that I waited and didn't purchase the 3DS version because it's all new up front to me and it looks so good, and I couldn't be happier with it. I found myself Friday, I got my Amiibo, which I'll show again. I got my Samus character, who I've named Bailey, as in Justin Bailey, if people aren't getting the joke, and the little game. And I fought against my Amiibo because I know that you were curious about what you can necessarily do with it. And you can watch it fight the computer, which that's
Boring.
blah. Yeah, but fighting against it's pretty fun, especially because it's low leveled and I can kick its butt all over the place. And I'm like, I can scream at the screen, "Learn, Amiibo, learn! Why aren't you picking up all my awesome movesets yet?"
I have this vision of you knocking Samus to the ground and then just shouting, "Again!" as Samus gets back up, and then you knock her down and like, "Again!" And it's just like some old kung fu movie.
Oh yeah. Well, Samus is my only friend in the world. I've gotten rid of everyone else, and it's just now Amiibos.
Wow,
And
that
me.
is sad.
Whatever, man. Uh, but one of the things that I've been really impressed about with Super Smash Bros. And before I get into the online is how quickly you can jump in and out of any game mode and everything. The loading is minimal. It's not something where it's like you load up a match and you're waiting 15 to 20 seconds for the match to start, which you would kind of expect when you're pulling data from so many different characters you can choose from, all the different stages that could load, but it is almost instantaneous, where it's maybe 5 seconds max, but 3 seconds. And it's something that I didn't really think about going into, but once I started playing around, it makes such a big difference because Smash Brothers is a game that you want to jump in there and start fighting right away.
Yeah.
And that they were able to not only bring this, I think it's a native 1080p resolution that just, it's got to be one of the Wii U's best looking games, and that it's able to do all of this with such minimal loading times is you got to give a round of applause to Sakurai, who's not only now making games that, like I said, are overflowing with content, but he's made not only one of the best looking games on 3DS, which I would say Kid Icarus Uprising, and people may say Smash, but now he's doing it on the Wii U, which is really awesome. And one of the biggest concerns for me going in, obviously, and where I've probably been the most critical over the past year here on the NF Show, is online with Nintendo. But happily, I can report so far that my experience, I would say 95% of the time, has been lag-free with Super Smash Brothers. And I guess the only caveat is I am playing for Glory Mode, which takes away items. And I've been playing a lot of 1 versus 1, which obviously that's going to be less stressful on the system than 4 players. But I've been really happy with my experience so far and found myself burning an hour just doing 1 versus 1 matches the other day against random people. That was a lot of fun.
I know that you've been concerned about the quality of the online play for Super Smash Bros. As online games with Nintendo are kind of hit or miss. There hasn't always been a straight home run streak one after the other. You're never quite sure what to expect. And there were complaints about how Smash worked online on the previous system on Wii.
Oh gosh, yeah.
That this one is like a huge improvement is great news.
Oh yeah, and like I said, it worked right away. Brawl, I think I tried a few times, and it honestly was like watching a slideshow. Like it got to the point where it was like, why am I even pressing buttons? It's not working like that, and they've come a long way. It's been 6 years since 2008, so you would hope when you have that much time and you see what other consoles are able to do online that they could get it there. And so far, it's been so good for me. Once again, I'd love to hear what other people's experiences out there are. But as someone who really kind of likes the competitive nature, and I'm by no means like a Super Smash Brothers star or anything. I'm playing with Mario. He's like my main right now, so I'm not doing anything too crazy. But being able to play like these 1v1 matches against other people is just really a lot of fun, and to see how I stack up, and the fact that you can do like 2v2, and eventually they're going to bring tournaments and everything. I'd love to set up an NF Show tournament. That's really cool, and I'm curious how they're going to evolve Smash Brothers, because it's something where I feel like the 3DS game has gotten a few updates, and now that we have the Wii U version, I'm really curious if they're going to expand, how they're going to expand on it. They're going to continue to update it, because I don't know if you saw, Noah, but there was talks about how Sakurai isn't working on paid DLC for Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. But then right after that came out, I think Nintendo of Europe tweeted that Mewtwo would be paid DLC after, because it's obviously you get it free. You get it free if you buy the 3DS and Wii U, but they are going to offer it as standalone DLC. So there's kind of this mixed message coming right now. But I have a hard time believing that they're not going to support Smash Brothers with more characters or some sort of DLC in the future.
I think they are. I think they are, at least in a limited fashion. We may not see more than 3 or 4 fighters added, just because of the amount of effort required to playtest and balance adding a new character to a huge roster that just gets bigger and bigger. You see it a lot in MOBA games on PC, where companies such as Riot Games make their money off of creating new characters and selling them and selling skins for that. But every time you add a new character, there are people who will swear up and down the new character is overpowered, it's all out of balance, and there's existing characters that weren't taken into account or play tested well enough. And that is a daunting exercise to do over and over and over, especially in a game like Smash Brothers, where you have all these different move sets, you have all these different environments to test in. Whereas, for instance, with League of Legends, you have a single environment. We have a few different play modes that you have to put characters through the paces through. But with Smash, there's all different types of exploits you have to look for in terms of the environment, handmade player environments, and then there's the Amiibo stuff. So I think we're going to see maybe 3 or 4. That's my prediction over the year. I'd hope it's more than just Mewtwo, but it just makes sense to milk that until a decent number of new major first-party games come out for Nintendo, which may not be until next holiday, where Nintendo feels comfortable enough to say, all right, we can move on from developing DLC for Smash. Although, much like with Mario Kart, I would be personally very happy if they just continue to develop new courses for Mario Kart, new racers, new karts to drive in, as well as new characters and stages for Smash. But we'll have to wait and see. It's new territory for Nintendo to get into, and it's possibly a strategy that they could pursue also with Splatoon coming up, and who knows how many other games. The Mario Maker game, maybe even Zelda, will start to see more DLC. So far, it's really great, Mercedes content aside, and I'm hoping that we get some really cool, weird additions to the Smash Brothers roster that we haven't seen before versus classic characters.
Yeah. Well, the last thing that I'm going to say about Smash Brothers, until I'm sure next week where I'll have more stories to tell, is I just love the fact that it feels more like Melee than Brawl. It's quicker, it's faster, characters don't feel as heavy or weighted down and everything. The physics doesn't feel like it's so weighted, and that to me deserves a round of applause for sure. But
and there's also more tripping.
Yeah, so tripping. I mean, I've really gotten more into the competitive side of Smash a couple years after Brawl came out, so at the time it didn't bother me. But yes, I'm definitely glad that I feel like Sakurai did a good balancing act so far, and as I dive deeper into the title, I'm curious to see how it plays out. But between kind of people who want to play Smash with all the items and everything, which is fun. I am honestly not someone who's like, there's only one way to play Smash. You do it the right way, you do it the wrong way.
I don't know, you're sounding like that.
Well, just so you know, you better play the right way. But everything's going so well so far, and maybe one of the ways to go to kind of round back to you of doing DLC for Super Smash Brothers is obviously, once again, the Amiibo. Maybe you can only get it if you buy the physical Mewtwo Amiibo, and that's how you get the DLC
Mm.
in game. They can obviously do some interesting stuff with that, but I wanted to spend a moment or two just talking about the Amiibo build quality. And I obviously got Samus in the mail, so I'll just hold it up and let people kind of look at it who haven't seen the Amiibo. Hopefully, it's in decent detail as I rotate it around. And I would say that I'm pleasantly happy with the quality of Samus's amiibo for it here in the United States is about $13 for a character, and the it's got metallic paint, but the paint job's not perfect. I mean, I think there's like a little mark here on the midsection of Samus's armor, and there's like spots where there's bigger punctures and everything. But in general, I've been pretty happy with how she looks. But going to a Target and kind of seeing them out in the wild, I have already seen Link, and everyone knows my feelings toward that gross, gr- I guess it's yellow gold stand going up into his stomach. But I got to see Marth, whose face looks abysmal to me. It just looks like the derpiest thing I've ever seen. But I got to see, I think, Yoshi and Steph, who I think really good. And it's kind of, we talked about, I think it's very hit or miss in general, but I think there's some stands. I think Pikachu looks great. Like I like Pikachu character, but I honestly didn't think I'd have this problem. But just going into the store, I got tempted seeing Pikachu up there because it's really cute. It looks really good. Obviously, it's a more simple design, and I think that works better for the Amiibo. And finally, I didn't see any shortages a day or two after Amiibo came out at Target. They had Marth, they had Villager, they had Wii Fit Trainer. I feel like those are the ones people are saying are hard to find, and they had plenty of those in stock. So another thing that I'd be curious, I know, no, you said that you haven't been able to go out anywhere and see what kind of the supply is for you out in Colorado, but here in Kentucky, I'm not seeing any problems. I'd be curious for anyone out there listening or watching the show if they've seen shortages, if they're trying to get an amiibo that they're having a hard time getting, because I know a lot of people think that these are selling out or going to be hard to find.
Yeah, I think that Nintendo prepared that this could be a huge seller for Nintendo, and I'm gonna hope that the company produced a lot of amiibos of all different designs to be adequately stocked throughout. Now, it'll be interesting to see as we get into December and after Black Friday's weekend passes, are they going to be harder to come by then? Are they going to
Yeah.
be slower to get restocked? I'm not sure.
Yeah, definitely. And then finally, just to kind of get things ready for, especially once again for people here in the United States for Thanksgiving. A couple of weeks ago, I got to play a few games with my nieces and nephews, and got to play kind of more party games, which I'm sure a lot of people will be playing here in a few days as they get together with family and friends. And I got to play more Just Dance, and I am a Just Dance fan. I really enjoy Just Dance. I like watching, I like playing. I think it's a great game. It's someone that was definitely skeptical. I think, no, I played it at E3 2010. I think it would have been like the second one. I played it and was very not enjoying playing it on the show floor. I think we got roped into playing, but it's something that I really think Ubisoft does a great job with, and it's fun to play with my nieces, one who's 14 and the other is 7, who have a lot of fun. And then I got to play Tank Tank Tank, the free demo version that's available on the eShop. As I think Tank 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 was actually a launch title for Wii U from Namco Bandai.
Mm-hmm.
And I played like the 4-person rumble, everyone against themselves. You're just firing missiles, and it was actually like my nephew was the one who wanted to play it, who is 3 years old, and it was like the perfect way to burn 20 minutes. Just very simple point and shoot, roll your tank around, and it was really funny seeing how much of a kick he got out of the fact that before you select your tank, you take a picture of yourself with the gamepad, and then you can put like a picture overlay, like make yourself look like a person in jail, you can make yourself look like a princess, all these different overlays. And he got a really big kick out of seeing what people would choose to make themselves look at, and then it was kind of your in-screen avatar, which was
Mm-hmm.
really funny. So It was really funny playing these kind of local multiplayer experiences that Wii U definitely, I think, does a great job at providing, probably the best between the big three consoles. It was really fun getting a chance to play those games. Do you have any plans to play any multiplayer games this week?
I really want to get back to Mario Kart and try that again. And aside from that, I'm not sure. It really depends on if I get a new game for my Wii U in this upcoming weekend, which may happen, but I'm just not sure yet.
And you got the Mario Kart 8 DLC, right?
I did. I got the season pass, quote unquote, or the double pack. I'm not sure what to refer to it as. So I still need to try that, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I have not gotten the DLC, which I think we talked about last week after the show was over, which got a funny response from Noah. It was, what?
Shameful is what I said it was.
Yes, you did. You called it shameful. And I just feel like I'm overwhelmed with games right now, but hearing such positive feedback about the levels, and I'm really curious to see what you say. You've got the F-Zero stage, the Excite Bike stage, the Hyrule stage. I did turn on the game earlier today because I wanted to get my Samus costume for my Mii character that helped me put over the top.
Yeah.
That put me over the top on Amiibo, and it is awesome. I can't. Nintendo better bring me a Mega Man outfit when I get my Mega Man Amiibo in February, because I'm definitely going to be busting that out.
I'm kind of curious to see, are there any Mii costumes that will stand out above others once all of the Amiibos come out? Like, what is the Pac-Man Amiibo costume going to look like in Mario Kart? I can't even imagine, but I bet it'll be pretty fun.
They've really done some cool stuff. I think you can see like the Donkey Kong costume's pretty cool. The Link costume is pretty awesome. I feel like the Mario Kart team took a lot of time and care and put together some really good looking stuff, which is really awesome. But that's enough about me and my Amiibo and you, Noah. I'm going to turn it over to the fan feedback, which you're going to take away.
Thank you very much, Evan. If you would like to be part of next week's episode in the fan feedback section, send in your emails to show@nfmagazine.com. And if you would prefer to do something even more immediate, you can send us a tweet over on Twitter. The official NF Magazine Twitter is @NintendoForce. I am @ThisIsNoah, and Evan is @EvanCampbell. Or you can just leave a comment over on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/NF Magazine. Just leave it under this episode. If it's on a later episode or an earlier episode, we may miss it. So we don't want to miss that. Let us know what you think of Smash and Amiibos. What Amiibos have you all gotten out there? What do you think about that? And we may actually get to hear a little bit about what's going on in your world. Maybe even some Smash stuff. We'll see what's in the feedback. Starting up first with the emails from Reggie. I'm guessing it's not Reggie Fils-Aimé, but Reggie wrote in, seeing that Nintendo is taking a leap in the Skylanders/Disney Infinity realm, do you think there will be a Mii open world game, kind of like Infinity, where you can use your Amiibo in the world? Or maybe something like PlayStation Home? What are your thoughts on something like this? So pausing there, I think I mentioned last week, I really would love Nintendo to do that. I think that something like that could truly be a concept seller for Amiibo, even more so than Smash, because Smash doesn't need Amiibo to be awesome. It's not completely integral to the experience. It's something that kind of adds on to it and makes it even a little bit more fun, but a game that truly required Amiibo and used them in really interesting and creative ways could really help move the concept forward even more. And I'm hoping that Nintendo does that. And as Evan alluded to last week, he thinks that Animal Crossing is going to be the game that does that.
Yeah, I think Animal Crossing is going to be the next big Amiibo series to come out, but I'm sure that Nintendo has planned a couple of different Amiibo series after Super Smash Bros., and it'll be interesting to see kind of what directions they go in and what kind of support previous Amiibo will have. I wonder how hard it's going to be to, as you introduce new series to the Amiibo line, how it is to support all these characters and figures in game. But I think an open world type of game like Infinity could work. I don't think Nintendo will do anything like PlayStation Home, where you can so easily uh, kind of interact with strangers and everything. But I think maybe an infinity open world where you can invite people there on your friends list or something that's a little more closed off in nature is perhaps a possibility. But I think that open world game's going to be to Nintendo is more Animal Crossing, honestly. And I think if we do see something that is Amiibo required, I wouldn't be surprised, no, if it's a eShop download. It's not actually a physical package.
Mm. That strategy was kind of taken with regards to the augmented reality game concept for 3DS. I feel like we've seen more support for that in Dinpamin and other content for 3DS. You've seen some stuff like Bravely Default's cards and stuff like that, but yeah, that could definitely be the case here as well. Reggie's email continued. Also, aren't you sad that Zack and Wiki might not ever make a return? This is like the perfect console to utilize that game, Reggie. And yes, Reggie, I am definitely a little bit sad about that because I was one of the people out there, I think one of the few people out there that played Zack and Wiki on Wii, and I loved that game. I thought it was fantastic. At first, it started out, and it's almost a little too weird. Even looking back on it, it's a little bit too weird for the take. The game itself was really fun. It was a clever, interesting take on the adventure game genre and used motion controls in pretty fun ways. And I just love puzzle-solving games with a story in them. That goes back to me being a kid. I just loved adventure games as a kid as well. So, yes, to use the gamepad for a Zack and Wiki game would be fantastic. There's so much functionality that you could use with it. And shoot, you could even have some Zack and Wiki amiibos, but for now, that seems to be nothing but a fuzzy, far-off dream, unfortunately.
It's so
Good reference.
Oh yeah, it's so interesting to think back to some of the early Wii games that kind of made an impact because Zack and Wiki always reminds me of what was the game they made like a DS version after it where you like use the pointer controls and they were like little colored characters that kind of remind me of Dinpamin. I'm trying to think of what it was. It was like an early launch title where you could like it was like a physics-based puzzler that you played in first person and you could manipulate objects and everything. Is that ringing a bell to you?
Pardon the pun, Zack and Wiki fans, but no, that is not ringing a bell.
So yeah, someone out there probably knows and is screaming it right now. But there's just these interesting franchises that would be really cool to see back. Maybe not in a full retail capacity, but now that we have the eShop, it'd be great to see like these smaller scale games kind of make a comeback there digitally.
Yeah, I mean, you have the gameplay concept there. You potentially have the game graphics engine, the gameplay engine, and you have the world and the design done. It seems like it could be, I don't know. I wonder how much the cost of doing something brand new would be outweighed by having existing resources to work with. So I don't know. Next email is from Andy Lapp, who wrote, "It was sort of unexpected to see a new Nintendo Direct at the time. When I heard that Majora's Mask is being remade on 3DS, I was super excited to get it. I haven't played the Nintendo 64 version, but the unique strategy, challenges, and responses are making me looking forward to purchasing it. It was also unexpected to hear Pikmin short films as a concept, which was way out of what Nintendo would do, and that Duck Hunt is coming to the Wii U Virtual Console. I never thought about Duck Hunt, and I didn't realize that it was available on the eShop. As for Mario Kart 8's DLC, I would say it's pretty good. I like the characters, the maps, and the vehicles. Looking forward to Pack 2 and also Splatoon and its one-player mode. I recently received Hyrule Warriors as a present, pausing. It seems like our entire audience, Evan, has just succumbed to the Hyrule Warriors fever. We hear about it so often.
It looks like a really cool game. I honestly, everyone knows what I'm critical about, and that's obviously the online co-op. But I think it looks like an awesome game, and this is a game where you're talking about support with Smash Brothers. They're doing a lot of support with Hyrule Warriors. There's a season pass, but there have been free updates and everything, and it's really cool. You can tell that Koei Tecmo has had a lot of fun with the types of stuff that they're bringing to that title, which is cool.
Yeah. Continuing with the email from Andy Lapp. So he wrote, "I recently received Hyrule Warriors as a present, and I am actually impressed with what the developers have done. Graphics are amazing, and the gameplay is easy. It's overall a nice Zelda spin-off for Wii U." So there you have it. Folks, if you're on the fence about requesting Hyrule Warriors as a gift for your holiday season, apparently there are many people out there who would say it is a winner. Unfortunately, Evan and I can't vouch for it yet. Maybe sometime in the future.
Is that something that you're looking to put on your Christmas list, Noah?
Nope. But I do still like to hear about all sorts of games, even the ones that I am not going to play.
Yeah. Well, speaking of games, I did a little research, and it's Elebits is what I was thinking of. Was also kind of this unique weird title, and that game, some reason, whenever I think of Zack and Wiki or Elebits, I always associate them together for whatever reason.
Very good. I'm impressed. Listeners, we have to give Evan a thumbs up there, virtually or otherwise, for being so slick and quiet. I'm researching that while I'm just babbling else. Let's get into the comments from our wonderful audience. First up from Weston M. Hey guys, it was great to see Iwata make his return and the return of Nintendo Direct. It was the first standard Direct I watched live, and it did not disappoint.
Awesome.
With the announcement of Majora's Mask 3D, it was a great move, and I was amazed by the changes made to the graphics, including the bigger emphasis on the color red. Majora's Mask is my favorite game of all time, and I'll definitely be picking it up. Wow, this is his favorite game of all time, Nintendo. He has been waiting this long for that game, so very cool. Weston continues, during last week I pre-ordered Super Smash Bros. And the Link Amiibo, and I have a game plan for launch day regarding Amiibo. I've decided to pick up Peach, Samus, and Fox. Wow. So he's going to have at least a Stables to juggle in his Smash repertoire. And wow, yeah, that means he could have quite an army to face you with, Evan, once you have your online session.
I know. I need to keep training with Samus, who's over here beside me. I'm just going to I should have just... You know what I should have done? I should have brought my gamepad and just had my Amiibo play against the computer while we were podcasting tonight. I feel like I'm not optimizing my training time right now like I could have.
I don't know. Yeah, you have to work on that.
She's only level 14. I need to get her to 50, but then you can keep leveling up because I think you can keep getting stat boost for your character that you kind of win as you play the game like you would attain trophies or whatnot.
That's pretty cool. Let's hear from the Seventh Experiment, who wrote in, I really hope they'll make a new Animal Crossing game. I've put so many hours into New Leaf, and I'm still not done. Having a new Animal Crossing is going to be amazing. As for Amiibo, I just came home with the Yoshi, and I've got to say, I'm happy with the way it looks. There are some imperfections, but for the price, I'm able to overlook at them. I took closer looks at Peach and was happy with what I saw, although I didn't buy an Amiibo of her. Samus, however, is a bit too small. She looks okay, though. I wasn't and I'm more willing to invest in more first wave Amiibos now that I've seen a couple of them. As for the third wave, I'm interested in Sheik, since she has been my main in Super Smash for the longest time. I'm also interested in Toon Link.
Toon Link looks pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. He does. I feel like those some of the cartoon, the simplistic characters like Kirby, Toon Link, Mario, Yoshi, they are just easy to just knock out of the park in the Amiibo arena. However, there are some that are detailed that my fingers are crossed, like Ike. I think he's going to be on my acquire list. And Fox, there's been some reports that creepy colored plastic supports aside, some of the more detailed ones actually look pretty sharp.
Fox, I will agree. Obviously I don't like that he has the blue plastic coming up to support him. But Fox, I think, for a detailed one, looks pretty good. I would be cautious about Ike because I was someone who almost got Marth instead of Samus because I thought it looks good, but seeing it in person compared to what Nintendo put out there, the face, it looks so... I feel like you're a detail-oriented person, and that's... Yeah. I would describe myself like that, and... Mm-hmm. I think it'll drive you nuts. You really, hopefully you can find a Marth out there, and I think it may make you want to pause on Ike. But I could be wrong. Hopefully Ike turns out well.
And then the same question is also true for Zelda, because I think Zelda could be a good one. And Peach is an example of another detailed example where she's got kind of a funky-looking face. The paint job, something went awry there with her face in some of the examples I've seen, but I haven't seen it in person, so I have to go out and research all the princesses. All right, continue with Seventh Experiment. I was relieved and am more willing to invest in more first wave Amiibos And then continuing, I'm interested in Sheik since she's been my main in Super Smash. And then Toon Link. All right, now I'm caught up with where we were. When I first heard about Majora's Mask 3D, continuing on the Zelda kick, uh, I almost couldn't contain my excitement. It's been something I've been waiting for a very long time. I actually am in the same boat as Evan. I never got to finish the game when it first came out. So I'm really looking forward to experiencing the story and seeing how it ends. And unfortunately, Seventh Experiment for me, the internet ruined how the game ended because it's just been belabored to no end because it's just so cool what happens. But I too, I didn't get far enough to get to the very end because me and console Zeldas have some kind of issue as compared to handheld Zeldas. But maybe the rebirth of a console Zelda on a handheld system will be what it takes for me to finish Majora's Mask as well. Next, comments from Kisaki Project, who wrote, the Mario Kart 8 DLC levels are incredible. The Excite Bike level is totally crazy and hectic. F-Zero will make you want a new F-Zero, and Hyrule Castle just makes me want Hyrule Kart. So cool. Awesome idea. I really recommend it. Kisaki Project continues, despite the downscaling in quality, I'll probably be a sucker and pick up a Peach amiibo with Smash because she is my main. Speak of the devil. See, Evan, Peach is a character. That's why I'm trying to balance, just a pure aesthetic decision in amiibo acquisition versus, well, I should really get a character that either A, is going to be represented in a lot of different games, and then I'll get more for my money, I suppose, more bang for my buck with amiibo, or B, is a character that I play a lot in Smash. And Pikachu and Peach are two characters that I love to play in Smash quite a bit, and that's why I was thinking, well, even though Peach has a weird face, maybe I'll still get her. I don't know.
I think you'll like Pikachu. I'm really curious. Hopefully you get a chance to go out somewhere and get to see them up close and everything, because I'm so interested to see what you think and kind of your evaluations of each of the amiibo.
But see, check out this little Pikachu.
That looks like the amiibo one.
But see what's cute about this Pikachu? It's in this Pikachu, because we've seen Pikachu so bajillion million times since Pokemon came out. It's really all about subtlety, and I feel like the Pikachu amiibo is in the most generic pose possible. And this is not too different from that. The only difference, and this is incredibly subtle, I'm showing this in the video for those of you who are listening in audio land. I'm holding up this little Pikachu figurine I got out in Japan. He or she, or whatever you want to gender your Pikachu as, has one ear kind of cocked back and one really cocked back. It just makes the Pikachu look kind of like, hey, what's going on? Not sure what's happening. Whereas Pikachu amiibo is just like, womp, I'm a Pikachu in standard pose, standard ears. And this Pikachu just works more for me, so I don't know. I'm not sure. These are the silly analysis paralysis exercises I go through about silly things like amiibo. The next topic is from Nintendo Dude GCN, who wrote, glad to have you guys. I can definitely understand the groans about another Zelda remake. Myself, I'm ecstatic about the Majora's Mask remake for 3DS. Majora's Mask is actually my favorite game from the entire Zelda series. Again, it is another favorite out there. I think for a while, Nintendo Dude GCN, it was my favorite Zelda as well until Spirit Tracks came out, and I really liked that one a lot. And then Link Between Worlds, and I think that's my new current favorite. So I'm just so fair weather with stuff. Continuing along with the comment from Nintendo Dude GCN, I am quite intrigued with Splatoon's single-player mode. Not quite sure what to make of it, but I am really excited for the game. As for other 2015 titles, I agree that I think we'll finally see Xenoblade next year. I'm also a bit skeptical, along with you, Evan, about Zelda Wii U being released in 2015. And I completely agree there with Nintendo Dude and with Evan. I do not think that game is coming out next year. If they've got Xenoblade coming out, that's almost all the awesomeness they probably need for the holiday, if not Animal Crossing in combination with Xenoblade. Evan?
Yeah, I really hope Zelda comes out. I really want a new Zelda game, and next year will mark 3 years since the Wii U came out, and it feels like we should have a full-blown Zelda game within that many years. I know that we had, obviously, the Wind Waker HD remaster, but yeah, I just have a feeling that we're going to see Animal Crossing kind of take up the November slot that basically just happened for Super Smash Brothers, or it could be another Amiibo game, and Zelda will get pushed back, especially because we haven't seen it playable or anything, but maybe Nintendo will surprise us. But history shows that Zelda console games are just delayed, and never really come out when their their first launch window or whatever else.
Yeah. And usually we don't have reason to complain other than until we wait for the game to come out. The game comes out and it's worth the wait. There's usually great reasons for delaying it. But still, it just doesn't make it any easier because that new Zelda game just looks so incredible. Just the little snippet that we've seen. I want to see so much more, and I'm banking on, Evan, that we will see much, much more of that game at E3, regardless of whether the game comes out this year, and it will make us want it all the more.
Yeah, definitely.
Last comment in our feedback section is from good old Sonic Tonic, who wrote in, "So good to have you guys back. Didn't realize quite how much I missed you until starting this week's show. Thank you very much. About the Amiibos, I keep hearing how good Yoshi and Kirby and Mario look in person, but what about Villager? I've seen the pictures and he looks all right to me. Maybe not perfect, but pretty good. Is he not that great in person?" Evan?
My problem is that he has the little clear plastic cast around his feet, kind of like Wii Fit Trainer. But I think, like, other than that, I think Villager looks pretty good.
Yeah, Villager was one that I thought would be pretty fun to be potentially a new main because he could just be so devilish, he or she, which is cool. There's all these different skins. But the Amiibo, yeah, those clear casts are just not fun. Sonic Tonic continues, "I'm definitely avoiding the tacky, quote-unquote, child-proof ones." Speaking of, sadly this means Link. "But I am excited to get Mario, Kirby, and Villager from Wave 1, Pit from Wave 2, and Bowser and Mega Man from Wave 3. And I have to agree with you, Sonic Tonic, the Bowser one does look pretty sweet. And yes, Evan, the Mega Man also looks really awesome.
The Mega Man.
Thank goodness.
I need to check out Pit, because I obviously really liked Kid Icarus Uprising, and Pit's a cool character. I need to see how that one turns out.
Well, prepare for plastic supports, because he's flying. So.
Also, look what happened to me going from not caring about Amiibo at all to slowly. I'm not getting them all. Yeah, I'm not getting them all, but I'm really happy with my little Samus character.
That's cool. I'm glad that you are, and that you feel like you've made a good investment. For the meantime, my Figma Samus in the background
pretty cool.
is going to make me happy. I need to make sure she's in a different pose every week, but I did not get a chance to repose her. So my apologies for those of you watching us out on YouTube. Continuing with Sonic Tonics. Great comment here. About the Nintendo Direct and Majora's Mask announcement, I am happy to see Iwata back for sure. And though I am happy for all of the Zelda fans who have wanted this title on 3DS for a long time, I have to be honest, I'm not that excited about it, even as a big-time Zelda fan. I've pretty much adored every Zelda game, with the exception of the DS ones. What? To play. No thanks. You need to give it a chance, Sonic Tonic. And Majora's Mask has never interested me because of the whole timer thing. This is just making me sad, Sonic Tonic. He continues, I play slowly. I like to explore. The idea of a constant timer and having to redo the same things over and over does not sound like fun to me. Am I missing something here? Some of the, in a way, Sonic Tonic, that is accurate, but it's kind of... You don't necessarily have to do the same things over and over. There's just so many different things to do. You kind of have to choose in what order you want to do them. So you make an agenda of sorts and you say, all right, I'm going to take on the Swamp Temple, or I'm going to try to help the separated lovers come together. That's going to be my task for this 3-day cycle. And then there's this other one. And as much as it would sound like it would be tedious repeating it over and over, my time with the game, in spite of not getting to the end, was I still found it delightful because like, oh, what puzzle am I going to do now? What am I going to do over here? There is that constraint, but you do have an option to control time in a way and decide when things restart. So I'm not sure it's that bad. Evan, do you have any memories from your short time with the game?
Honestly, I really can't recall too much, but I can empathize with Sonic Tonic. The idea of when I play a Zelda game too, I like to explore every nook and cranny. I like to take my time. I kind of like to soak it in. So it is kind of this contradicting feeling you're experiencing with Majora's Mask, where it's like you're on a timer, you need to get going. This is not time to smell the roses and everything. And I think a lot of people, for how they play Zelda games, that just conflicts with
Mm-hmm.
how they're used to doing it. So I can definitely get the apprehension.
Yeah, I think it's what you hit the nail on the head there, Evan, and Sonic as well. It isn't the typical traditional Zelda experience where it's like you have this vast world, go wherever you want, explore, have fun. It's like, nope, TikTok. It's what that game is. The last part of Sonic's comment reads, oh, and one last thing. I agree with Evan that I don't think the Wii U Zelda is coming in 2015. I'm actually okay with that if we get a new Animal Crossing, though. I put hundreds of hours into each version of this game, and I am both super excited and horrified of an Animal Crossing game being the Amiibo killer app, aka wallet killer. Do you think we might actually see this already, though, given that the 3DS one took forever to come out? Evan?
I think part of the reason that I'm a little bit more optimistic about a Wii U Animal Crossing is the Animal Crossing app that came out for Wii U, where we got to see almost all the villagers and these higher definition character assets. So Nintendo obviously has kind of the base there, and they still need to create the world and the content and what separates it from New Leaf. Are you going to be the mayor again, or do they have kind of another spin? What kind of social features are they going to have there? And obviously just the localization efforts, but Animal Crossing, I think, has now proven itself to be a worldwide hit. I would think that Nintendo, like they've done with Pokemon, they would want this to become a worldwide release instead of like the previous 3DS one where it took, 9 months to a year after it came out in Japan to come to North America and Europe. But you could be right. It could be something where we see an Animal Crossing this year in Japan, but we don't get it until maybe next summer in the United States. I think that's a good assessment and a possible theory.
Yeah. That said, there are definitely some Animal Crossing villagers I would love to see as amiibos, because some of them have horrible design, but some of them are so cute, and it's just like, oh, I love that villager. I want them to move into my town. What do I do to get that villager to come? Or don't leave me, villager. I don't think I can ever return to Animal Crossing in 3DS just because I'm sure the town would be full of people I've never seen before, and there would just be cockroaches inside of every building, and it would just be a shambles. And I don't know if I could live with myself, Evan.
But I think we both should go back. We got to go back and have like a little report someday about our Animal Crossing towns.
Maybe the next Animal Crossing should be subtitled Slumlord. Animal Crossing Slumlord. And then we would be a good fit for that. Just like, just let it be. It'll take care of itself, sort itself out.
Nintendo, with the next Animal Crossing, just please make online where it's seamless. Don't make me go open a gate or anything in my town. Just let me like click a little box that says online, so you know it, and all of our awesome NF Show listeners and viewers, you can just come visit whenever you want. We don't have to set up anything. Just come on in.
Yeah. Everybody's welcome in the town. All right, that is it for our feedback section. Thank you so much to everybody out there who listens to and watches our show and sends in so many great comments and emails. We hope to hear from you again next week. Hopefully some Smash Brothers and Amiibos stories. And with that, I'm going to hand the reins back over to Evan.
Thanks so much, Noah. And don't forget that you can subscribe to us on YouTube. We even have an NF Show playlist where you can watch all 44 episodes now, which is probably close to 50 hours of NF Show content. So be sure to check that out. And also, please subscribe to us on iTunes if you get a chance, and review us. We have had a couple of issues with iTunes, but thankfully we have Noah who is slowly ironing them out with the Apple team. And are all the episodes back up yet, Noah?
I think we're still researching that.
Okay, so if there are issues with iTunes, we apologize. I know that it's kind of been an ongoing thing for the past several months, but we're doing everything in our willpower to get all the episodes back up there. But in the meantime, you can always go to nfmagazine.com and get the audio version and download it from there. And finally, like Noah said earlier, you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Evan Campbell. He is at This Is Noah. And most importantly, there is at Nintendo Force for the official NF Magazine Twitter account. And there's we've just got a lot of great games to play until next week, Noah.
Yeah, and this is a for those of you in the U.S. It could be a huge gaming weekend for you with Thanksgiving. I have many fond memories of getting one new game, hopefully a multiplayer one around Thanksgiving. And it's just like, all right, now it's time to play with the family, play with the cousins, or with the siblings, or with mom and dad, and maybe we'll have some cool Thanksgiving gaming session stories to look forward to next week as well.
It's funny because I feel like my one of my most vivid memories is with Ocarina of Time on Thanksgiving and just playing it all morning. And my parents hosted Thanksgiving at their house and just kind of like yelling at me like, "We're gonna eat now," and it's just like, whatever. I'm playing Ocarina of Time. This is too great and everything. But please, yes, let us know what you play this weekend. If you're in the United States, we hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. If you're not, we just hope you enjoy the rest of your week and get to play all the awesome games this weekend, especially as Smash Brothers hits out there in Europe. And we will be back next week with episode 45. I'm sure to talk about more Smash, more Amiibos possibly, and whatever happens out there Nintendo news wise. So be sure to come back then. But thanks so much for joining this week. We'll see you again soon.
Bye
Bye.
bye.